Hello everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jacqueline, and in today's video I'm bringing you the review, swatches, comparisons, full-on demonstration on the brand new holiday collection by Jaclyn Cosmetics. But before we get started, and if you're new here, I hope that you will consider to subscribe to my channel and ring the post notification bell so you get to know whenever I upload new videos. Also, come and check my Instagram. And now, if you want to know if this collection is worth your time and your money, then just keep on watching. I went ahead and placed my order. I got the 2 highlighter palettes and 2 of the mood finishing powders, and we're gonna go over the details and whatnot about this collection. Before I get started, and I don't want to go into a huge tangent right here, you know, if you have been following me for a while now, you know that I was the second person who posted the lipstick swatches of Jaclyn's first launch that unfortunately was a fiasco. And I just want to tell you that I do not believe on canceling culture. I do not believe on spreading hate. I believe in second chances. I know that if you're here for either you're a subscriber of mine and you're supporting my channel and you're just here to watch, okay, let's just see what else Jaclyn, because my name is Jaclyn, you know, what I upload today. And if you're cruising by and you're new here, I'm just gonna review the makeup. I also uploaded a second video after the lipstick swatches, and when everything kind of like the kaboom happened and things were found on lipsticks in regards to that issue. So if you want to see my thoughts about it, you know, please refer to that video right there. Other than that, as a consumer, I bought the full-on lipstick collection. I will have to tell you that I received my refund, my full-on refund, and I didn't have to wait a long time. I didn't have to bug anybody. As soon as things were evolving and happening, I received my refund within a week of reporting, you know, my concern about the purchase without any other hesitation. I was offered other things too, like as soon as we launch the new lipsticks, we can send them to you for free, and here and there. I mean, there was a lot of, you know, like confusion within the customer service with Jaclyn Cosmetics. And obviously it's like, if you're refunding me the money, you don't need to send me new lipsticks. You're fine, you're okay. I know the way that Jaclyn addressed the situation. She's a human, you know. She went through a phase of anger, disappointment, failure, humiliation too, receiving hate from other people. And I have to say, you know, lifting yourself up from when you're so down, like that you feel all this pressure and all this embarrassment. I mean, if you have suffered ever from depression, you know, bumping up yourself up to be like, you know, this is not the end of my career, this is not the end of my passion, it takes a lot. It takes a lot, and I think that's what we should take out of this. And I hope that in all these like foggy mist of things, everything gets solved so that everybody's happy. Okay, so now that I'm done telling you my opinion and blah blah blah, let's go into what you came for. Okay, so I purchased these items right on the date of the launch, and I was refreshing my computer, and right away I was able to put my order. Now, I do live in California, so I was able to get all this stuff fairly fast. I just have been busy with Thanksgiving weekend, and I just haven't been able to create any videos or anything like that. And by the way, a lot of people ask like, oh, what's the name of her company? I mean, in here everywhere it says Jaclyn Cosmetics and the license as Jaclyn Cosmetics. So there's no Jaclyn Hill. like I said, I decided to pick up the two highlighter palettes. One is the Flash, which is, I think the Flash is the one that is for lighter skin tones, and then for deeper skin tones we have the Flair. So here it is, the Unicorn. And now these two palettes right here, they are made in Italy. And that was one of the things that attracted me the most. I really enjoy products, cosmetics products that are made in Italy. They have very advanced laboratories in there. Usually the quality, I mean, I'm not saying every single product that is made in Italy, cosmetics wise, is gonna be the best, but usually we tend to see, like, when it's something made in Italy, that is good quality. Now, just for your information right here, the first ingredient of this palette is mica, at least from the Flair. Yeah, because the Flash one, mica isn't here, but it's kind of like on the third, it's the third ingredient, but anyhow, they both have mica in it. Now, I also got two of the mood powders, and these are finishing powders, so they are not, you can maybe set your makeup with these powders, but to me they are finishing powders, and I love these type of finishing powders, and I have various ones, and we will go over details, swatches, and all that good stuff. And now the mood powders, they are not made in Italy, they are made in the United States. Anyhow, I got them in the shade Do Me and Brighten Up. So let's go ahead and just unbox this palette right here. Okay, it comes with a little note right here. It says right here, you're looking at an original. Our accent light highlighters are made using a proprietary filling process that creates unique, one-of-a-kind patterns in every pan. This is no ordinary highlighter palette, it's a work of art. And now, here is the insert that it comes with, and here it is the palette. So it says Jaclyn. It is a hard case, and I really like how embedded it is. It's very thick. The palette is very thick. A lot of people said, well, she took a lot of inspiration. She has collaborated before with Becca, and this is one of her palettes. I mean, yes, but these palettes are across the board very common from different brands. I mean, this is another Becca palette too, right there. Then I have here like a Charlotte Tilbury palette too, that is actually made in Italy as well. This is thicker, you know, a little bit like more chunky, but you know, it's just another packaging. That's all what it is. But I really like the concept. I really like how clear and neat and very clean, sleek looking it is. And now let's just open it up. It is very reflective, obviously. There's a little bit of dead space on this area where it says Jaclyn. Do I think it's something wrong right there? No, because, I mean, at the end it's her palette, so maybe that's what she wanted it. Obviously, she could have done something a little bit smaller or a little bit, you know, like thinner, but at the end, this is the result. It looks nice. I like the look of it. Okay, and now let me show you the Flair palette. Here it is, the Flair palette, which is for deeper skin tones. I thought this one right here was so pretty. I don't know, I just get a little bit hypnotized by these colors. So I think I'm gonna use that for like eyeshadow application. I think that's what I'm going to be doing. Now looking them very, very closely, they really have like a little bit of like a fabric type of, yeah, it looks like it's fabric, the finish that it has, the embossing, I mean, like fairly interesting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do my swatches. I'm going to start with the Flash palette. Let me tell you that they are very soft to touch. So here are the shades. So I have here Gleam, Iced, Spark, and Mesmerized. Very soft on application, they glide very smoothly. This shade right here called Mesmerized has a really beautiful flip between a gold and a peach shade. Then the shade Ice, it has more of like a pink undertone to it, but it's kind of like a rose gold tone. This is more of like a pearl shade, the one called Gleam, and then a champagne shade, the shade is Spark. Okay, now let's go into the Flair palette. Glow Up, May You Look, Exposure, and Turn On. Okay, I'm gonna be using the shade Spark, and I'm just gonna lightly tap it. Okay. Now I'm using a natural hair brush. This brush is very soft. It's by Sonia G. And let me just use a little more. Okay, so I think that's good enough. And this shade right here, although champagne, it does have a yellow undertone to it. I don't think I'm crazy about the shade, but I think it is a pretty color, and it actually is very smooth. I mean, any highlighter will emphasize a little bit your texture. I do have texture right here, but some formulas, they are a little bit more forgiving, and I think this is one of those formulas. Okay, now I'm cleaning my brush right here, and I'm gonna go into this shade called Mesmerised, and I'm just gonna apply it over top. Oh wow. Okay, so that's plenty right there. Now from the Flair palette, I'm gonna go into the shade Glow Up. I think this is the only shade on this palette that will suit my skin tone. Oh wow, you saw that? Very glowy. I like this shade actually. Okay, now I want to go again into this palette right here, and I want to go ahead and use the shade Iced, and I'm going to just apply it a little bit on the tip of my nose. Ooh, right there, that's enough. And then right here, right on my Cupid's bow. Okay, so the glow is there. It's intense. You can see right there, it's a little bit too intense. Now I really want to dive into the Mood Light Luminous powders. These powders right here retail for $32. Again, I got them in the shade Do Me and Brighten Up. This is Jaclyn right here, Frosted. This is not glass, this is heavy plastic. And then here it is the other shade, Brighten Up. Just put them side by side. Hopefully you can see. Now on the top of the lid, there's nothing, it's just plain, doesn't say anything, very simplistic. And then at the bottom, you get 10 grams or 0.35 ounces of product, again made in the United States. And they have a shelf life of 12 months each. Usually I buff my face with a luminous powder. So I have here the LaoawCIA translucent setting powder. I also have Lancome Absolue Powder, as well as the newest Cover FX Illuminating Setting Powder right here. So these are the ones that I usually keep on my rotation. And let me tell you that yes, Jaclyn Hill has raved about the Lancome powder right here. It's something that she has recommended it. I'll tell you that the Lancome Absolute Powder comes with the same amount of ounces, 0.35 ounces, as the Jaclyn Hill powder. These one here though cost $60, and I mean it comes obviously with the guarantee of Lancome that has been for many years in the market. And let me just go really quick to Jaclyncosmetics.com, and it says right here, bring out the inner glow with this magically luminous powder. Infused with diamond and rose quartz powders, this multi-purpose formula blurs imperfections, enhances your complexion, and delivers a radiant finish. Use it as a finishing powder all over the face to get that lift from within look, or apply it to targeted areas for soft highlight. So nowhere here it says that this product right here, it is a setting powder. Like I said, this is a finishing powder, and I'm familiar with these type of products because, as you can tell, it's something that I enjoy to use. So anyhow, when you open it up, it is a screw top. You'll find there's a little seal right there. and I just open Do Me, and I'm just gonna put a little bit on the cup. And I'm gonna be using my Sonia G Soft Cheek brush for the application, but honestly, when I use these type of formulas, I like to use a really fluffy big brush, like humongous brush, something like this right here. This is my La Mer brush. I like to just like buff it, but I'm just gonna have a little bit more of a dense application, so at least you can see a little of the finish of the powder. So I have here on the brush Do Me, and I'm just gonna apply it right here on my forehead. And as you can see, I mean, you can barely see a little bit of a sheen right there. Now let's go for the other powder, and this is in the shade Brighten Up, and I'm just gonna clean my brush really quick. That's what I thought, a very subtle glow. So if you don't like a lot of highlighter on your face, I think these powders right here will be really good. Now let me just swatch these powders for you. They may be a little bit hard to swatch because they're not like an extreme highlighter. So here I have the shade Do Me. So it has a very subtle luminosity and it's extremely soft. Okay, and this shade right here, the shade Brighten Up, what I like about it is it has a kind of like a peachy undertone. And this is the shade Brighten Up. So these are not like heavy highlighters at all. So I think I want to go with the shade Brighten Up, and I'm just gonna buff my face with this powder. So I'm just gonna take my La Mer powder brush, and I'm just gonna buff my makeup. I don't see that it's emphasizing any of my pores. I think it's just giving me a very subtle, like, glow from within effect, which that's actually what I was expecting for these type of powders. Let me just swatch this Lancome one. I have it right here in the shade Absolute Golden, and I think the one that she likes to use is Absolute Pesh. So this one right here, it's a little bit more rosy, so I'm just gonna swatch it down here. And yeah, these have more like a peachy, even darker than the one from Brighten Up from Jaclyn. Let me show you the one from Laura Mercier. This is that translucent glow powder. I want to swatch it above Do Me. Do Me has a little bit more of like a very ivory color, while the one from Laura Mercier has a little bit more of like a nude type of undertone. The one from Laura Mercier is a little bit more yellow. The one from Jaclyn, it's a little bit more like for the fair skin tones. And then I have here the Cover FX Illuminating Setting Powder in the shade Light. So this one comes in shades. The Laura Mercier one, it doesn't. Now, you see what I'm meaning about, like, I wish that they will all come with like a little stopper right here, like this, so it doesn't fly all over. Just gonna swatch it right here. No, it's even a little bit darker than Brighten Up and closer to the Lancome one. So there you go. This down there is Cover FX. I want to go ahead and use this palette right here to do my eyes, and for that, first I'm gonna just put a little bit over my lid some neutral shades. So I'm gonna grab my Scott Barnes Natural Eyeshadow Palette. This is such a great palette. I review it here on my channel. Such a good palette. Okay, I'm gonna go into the shade Vintage right over here, and I'm just gonna kind of like apply it as a base. I'm gonna go to Turn On, and I'm using a natural hairbrush. So now I'm gonna go into the shade Exposure, and I'm just gonna deepen out my outer V. Now I'm gonna go into the shade Make You Look, Now from the Flash palette, I'm going to go into the shade Gleam. I'm just going to put it on my inner corner. And I'm going to use the same shade for my brow bone. Now I'm going to go back into my Scott Barnes palette. And I'm going to go to this shade right here called Brick House. And I'm going to use it for my lower lash line. A little bit of Turn On and a little bit of the shade called Exposure. And I'm taking it on my lower lash line. Alrighty, my friends, now that I'm done trying these products here, let's go, I think, in a little bit of comparisons with pricing, because I think that's something that it's gonna kind of like, you know, intrigue you, I'm pretty sure. As a consumer, we need to be well informed of our purchase and how much we're paying per product, etc. So I know this package right here seems a lot bigger than this palette right here, but in terms of product, what you're getting inside is pretty much the same. When I read on the back of the Love Custom palette from Charlotte Tilbury, it says that this palette contains on each pan 3.8 grams of product. And if we compare it to the Jaclyn Hill one, each of the pans on this one right here has 3 grams. So this one comes with just a dash more, but this palette right here retails for $75, also made in Italy. And now if we go into the Becca, Khloe, and Malika palette, this also has 4 different shades. And now these are different, both Charlotte Tilbury and the Becca ones from these palettes from Jaclyn Hill, because these ones come with a highlighter, a blush, 2 blushes, and then a bronzer. Okay, so this product right here comes with a total of 12 grams of product. So that means if we divide it into 4 different pans, each of the pans contain about 3 grams. That in that sense, you're getting the same amount of product. Now, let's go into a little bit of comparisons with other highlighters that I have in my collection. I'm not going to go over each highlighter because that will be exhausting, but I think a lot of you may be wondering about Champagne Pop and Prosecco Pop, and I have them right here on this palette. I want to move it that much because this shade right here, which is Champagne Pop, is kind of like falling apart, but there are a couple of shades that are not identical, but they are alike. I have Champagne Pop right here, Mesmerised, Champagne Pop. Here I have Mesmerised. Now let me tell you that Champagne Pop, it's a little bit more peachy than Mesmerised. Mesmerised has a little bit more of like a yellow undertone to it. So now let's take a peek to Prosecco Pop, and I'm gonna go ahead and compare it to Glow Up. Prosecco Pop, and this is Glow Up from the Flair Palette. And now I'm gonna also swatch Spark from the Flash Palette, and I'm just gonna put it above Prosecco Pop. So Prosecco Pop is more golden tone. Now I'm gonna go to the Becca Khloe Malika palette, the Khloe version, and I'm gonna just swatch the highlighter, and I'm gonna compare it from the Flash palette, the shade Spark. This is from Khloe palette, and this is from Jaclyn's palette. And then as another point of reference, I do have Malika palette as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch the highlighter, and I'm gonna compare it to the shade Made You Look from the Flair palette. Here is from Malika palette, and this is Made You Look. The last shade that I want to compare, this is actually a blush shade, but it has a little bit of that highlighter, I mean not highlighter, but a little bit of a sheen to it, and I want to compare it to the shade Turn On. Okay, so this is from Malika's palette, and this one right here is Turn On from Jaclyn's palette. So now that I have gone through comparisons, swatches, trying all these products on my face, I think I have my final thoughts right here. First of all, I wanted to mention that I do also follow Jaclyn Hill on Instagram, and one day she showed a picture that she was in Rome in her personal Instagram, and I turned and told to my oldest daughters, like, she is working on her next product. I knew it. I mean, like, I knew it. I was like, she had it to really make of this lunch exceptional in order to put her brand up on the game, because there's a lot of people that I know that are gonna be like, nope, I'm not gonna purchase these at all, and some people that are just like, I'm just gonna wait for a lot of reviews. And I think that's a smart way to shop. Now here on this other side, if I was Jaclyn, just the consumer, and something so big, you know, like what happened with her first launch, and I wasn't a YouTuber at all, I would be the same. I'm like, nope, I'm not buying anything, even if I like it, until I see plenty of reviews of people that I can trust. So let's talk about, first, I think I want to go into these mood powders. I love them. I really, really like it. And as you can tell, it just gives the most subtle glow. Now, does it blur completely your pores and imperfections? So, but it just gives a beautiful lit from within glow, which I think is just so, it's just very elegant. Let me tell you that the finish, it's an elegant finish. Something very subtle. Just for the purpose, because you're here in this video, let me just show you like how is the finish of the Lancome one. So I will just bring you closer, because I'm sure you're gonna be like, can you show us? Because I know a lot of people, including myself, I know Jaclyn Hill has taken inspiration from this powder right here to complete her line of highlighters. And there's nothing wrong to get inspired by somebody else. I dislike when people copy exactly things from one brand to the other. So where should I try it? Let's just do maybe somewhere here. The one from Lancome has a little bit of glitter. The one from Jaclyn Hill doesn't have any glitter particle specks. It's very simple, you know, like to the dot, just a glow. I'm not sure about the Do Me, if it's a shade that I'm gonna be able to use it. It's a very neutral shade, but I like the shade Brighten Up on my skin tone. Again, I have a light to medium skin tone. And then I think the price is right. These right here, again, it costs $60. The Laura Mercier one costs $39. And the Cover FX Illuminating Setting Powder costs $35. I think the performance is really good, and I don't know if I mentioned or not, but these powders, they contain mica too. And now going into the eyeshadow palettes, they cost $49. So in comparison, I mean, just to recap, with these right here that cost $44, is fairly comparable on price at that point, $49, and then this one is $75. I mean, we do the math. You know what I mean, right? And I'm just comparing it to those palettes right there, because those are made in Italy. But then again, those palettes right there, they are a combination of highlighter, blush, bronzer, and whatnot. But these palettes right here are just all highlighters, which I feel in a way that it could be a little bit excessive, but at the same time, I mean, it's Jaclyn Hill. We all know that she likes the glow. She has beautiful, perfect skin. I mean, I never see on any of her videos any like bumps or textures or anything. And then like, she looks super soft, like a porcelain doll. And I mean, it makes sense for her to bring this line. Do I think it's a little bit excessive? Maybe. I mean, like, I didn't buy personally the loose highlighters because I felt like, I think this is plenty. I mean, like, I have already so much in my collection. Why I want to add some more? What I was really excited for is this right here. But these right here, I think, again, is Jaclyn. This is her. That's her nature. Highlighters. I would have, though, like to see, instead of this format, maybe 2 highlighters, a bronzer, and a blush. But then again, I see what she maybe didn't want to do that, because then it will be even more like oppressing the thing of like, oh, okay, you're doing something like the Becca palettes. And I'm sure she wants to steer away from that. Do I like the palettes? Yes, they are worth it. As you can tell, I mean, the brushes, they are the ones that she sells, there are synthetic brushes. So those right there, sometimes they are a little bit more rough. They will pick up some more product. I haven't seen them in person, so I cannot tell you, exactly, the quality of them. But I will tell you that if you use natural hair brushes, as you can tell, they give me a more subtle application. So I'm gonna be able to use this palette right here more comfortable, because believe me, when I saw her launch videos and then other videos from other YouTubers, I'm like, wow, that's a light bulb right there. And I don't know if I like a light bulb, right? But I mean, like, I like what I see right now. Now that I have tried it myself, I like both of them. I know that the Flair, I'm not going to be able to use it as much, but I can also use them as toppers for my bronzer if I want to have a bronzer that it's a little bit more, just a dash more like luminous. I can use that and mix it with my matte bronzer, and same thing, I can do something alike to that. Just a dash for a blush with this shade, maybe. And then I can definitely use this shade right here as a highlighter, the glow up one. I don't think it's too dark for my complexion. So, I mean, I think each of the color stories on these palettes are really perfectly done. Now, I want to tell you about pricing. I know a lot of people say, oh, $49 is her, after her lipstick fiasco and whatnot, like too expensive. I mean, for the packaging and everything, you're paying per pan $12.25 if we make the math, which is not that bad. I mean, like, for a single, sometimes we pay for just a single highlighter $35, $25, $28, unless you go to drugstore, and then from drugstore you're not gonna get that pricing. I mean, does it make sense? I think the value is there. I mean, you're not gonna ask for something like luxury and pretend to pay, like nothing. And I think, I mean, like, if it was a big brand like Becca, they have a massive type of production. It's kind of like Laura Mercier, and they can offer, 40%, 50% off. I think maybe with time, Jaclyn Hill may be able to offer those prices when her brand grows, but for right now, I mean, like, I think the palette, honestly, is worth it. Blendability is there. It's a very pretty formula because it doesn't emphasize my texture. I mean, I think it's a very, very pretty formula, and I really, really hope that the lipstick situation stays on the past, that she's able to conclude it and to close that chapter of her life by solving any pending issues with clients, because that's extremely important to build credibility. That is, I mean, of extreme importance, is vital for a company. I really hope that this will become a path for less drama on the beauty community, on this industry right here, because sometimes it just feels like it's too saturated with drama, and I don't like drama. I want to be happy with the products that I purchase, and just, have a happy experience overall. So I think that this is a great launch for her, and I'm happy. I wish in a way that this could have been her first launch, but you know what? Call it however you want to call it, God, Lord, the force from heaven, energy, or whatever. She needed to learn something, who knows why. And I mean, it happened with her lipsticks, but here we are with a good launch, something that I think that I said for right now, that yes, it is good. Okay, my friends, this is it for this video. I would love to read your comments, so please leave them down below. And I know my subscribers, I know you're super respectful, so I know everything here will be very, civilized. I hope that there's no more drama or anything like that, but let's share our thoughts about this collection. Let me know if you're planning to get it or not, what you like, what you dislike, what you think it was necessary or unnecessary. Let's just share our thoughts. Let's have a nice conversation, because at the end, the comments, they just serve us to kind of like see other point of views, and as well as to know, if the products, to become a little bit more wiser as consumers on what to purchase. So I think between this video right here, other videos from other creators, and our comments, I think we can grow together and actually be, smart shoppers. So I would love to hear those comments. And if you like this video, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up. Also share with somebody else that may like this type of content. And if you haven't done so yet, you're waiting too long, because under this screen right here in red it says subscribe. Just tap in there, it's completely free. And if you don't want to miss any of my content, please ring the post notification bell. That's the only way YouTube will let you know whenever I upload new videos. And I would love to have you here more often and be part of my family. If you have a little bit of a chance and you are like browsing on Instagram, check my Instagram, follow me there. I would love to grow my family there as well. And until the next time, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.